Hey, James, to your right. I was just curious, last year you guys played for the most part with three linebackers, other than against the triple option teams. And BK said he wants to now rotate in Asmar, Greer, as well as Tavon. What do each of those guys bring to the linebacking group, and why, I guess, or how is it different to have a rotation versus just a set group of guys?
Yeah, I think the rotation just helps because those guys are a little bit newer to the game, right? So you get 10 snaps out of Tavon, and then, Asmar can give you another good 10 snaps. So using two linebackers like that can really help with just, freshness and keeping everybody involved in the game. But and also, I mean, they're both very talented linebackers, right? Like, you're going to get different things out of both of them. So bringing them both into the game helps all of us.
And just through two games, how would you evaluate the linebackers group?
I think the linebackers have played well. We need to do a little bit better job of controlling what's going on around us, but I think we're downhill. Niles has been making plays. I think I've been making plays, and Tavon played well last week, and Greer the start of the week before that, I think he played pretty well. I mean, they both have things to clean up, and we all do, but I think overall the linebackers have played well.
James, when you hear it's Michigan State week, what goes through your mind?
For me, I mean, I played in my freshman year, so I'm pumped to play them again. They're fun to play against. They're a hard-nosed team, and everybody's been saying it, physical, physical, physical. But it's true. I remember playing special teams against this team my freshman year, like I said, and they don't give up on any play.
Broader perspective, what have you learned about what the rivalry means? I mean, these teams have met more than, I think, 75 times in their history.
Yeah, I mean, the rivalry is a great rivalry. When you have two teams that have tradition, no matter what teams they are. We play USC, we play Michigan, we play a lot of the teams in the country that have unbelievable tradition. So whenever you are matched up against a team like that, you're really just trying to put on for the university and play the best game you can.
Thanks, James.
James.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I had to adjust this bad boy.
James, I'm doing a story about a little bit of the history of the series. Are you aware of the 66-10-10 tie?
A little bit, yeah.
Can you imagine that was number one versus number two late in the season, basically decided the national championship? Can you imagine playing for a national championship and the game ending in a tie?
No, I cannot. That would be very frustrating. So.
You good, Tom? James, you've been very active around line of scrimmage. I think you have 3 tackles for loss. You're on pace for a heck of a number at the end of the year. How much better equipped are you physically now than when you first made that transition to defense?
I think, yeah, I've settled into my body a little bit. As a receiver, you don't really have to maintain your body very much, honestly. You can be as skinny as you want as long as you're running fast and catching the ball. They don't really care. On defense, on the other hand, you're taking more hits, getting bruised up a little bit more. So it takes a toll on you. And there was that transition, but I feel so comfortable in my body right now. Feel good at the weight I'm at, and I think it's showing on the field.
It seems like from day one after you moved to defense, Coach Van Gorder was talking you up and really liked what you brought to the defensive side of the football. What, for a guy that was transitioning to the other side of the football, what did you do, or what do you think was it that you did to impress him so much so quickly?
I think it's just, my ability to learn as well as, try to execute my job to the best of my ability. Just playing physical along with all of that. Everybody talks about my size for the past however many years, but no matter how big I've been and no matter what size I've been physical on every play. So I think that's what he's liked, and just, my execution side of it.
How would you describe what your role, what your responsibility is on this defense? What does BVG expect out of you on a weekly basis in game situations?
Just coming from my specific position, or as a leader?
Specifically your position
Okay.
and your physical role.
Yeah. So, this year I've moved into a couple different roles. So I've played, you saw in Texas, I was playing more of, a rush linebacker up on the lines. This past week playing, some more Sam, just being more in my position. But out of the Sam position, just continuing to contain our defense, and also, give the quarterback different looks in the seam. So trying to help with the safeties, giving different coverage looks, and then also just pressure off the edge.
Coach Kelly said that one of your big responsibilities as an edge guy is to make sure that things get funneled back to the middle of the field, where obviously you'll get help. Can you speak to that responsibility?
Yeah, that's probably my biggest responsibility. You let the ball get outside, and we have a corner pretty much to end the play. So trying to turn the ball back inside to the rest of the guys who are running the ball is very important. And, that's kind of changed for me throughout the years. I mean, it's still very important, but in previous years, I've kind of tried to, just set the edge and make sure the ball's going back. Now I'm trying to set the edge and make a play. So it's changed a little bit, but still the same job.
Thank you.
I think you're only one of 6 players who played in that 2013 game, obviously at a different position. But what do you remember about just overall Michigan State's identity that year, and how similar is it to what you've seen on film to this team?
Very similar. I think they hold, that's part of their culture at that university and within their team. Like everybody's saying, again, the physicality part of it. I mainly played special teams, as you guys know, so I remember their special teams being pretty tough. I mean, they're guys. A lot of teams, you show up and you can tell how the game's going to go by, how you play, how their special teams play. So on the first kickoff, are they coming to knock my head off, or are they just kind of trying to block me and see what happens? And Michigan State's the kind of team that'll play every single snap on special teams. So I remember coming out of that game a little banged up, felt physically tired, and a lot of times just playing special teams, that doesn't happen. So it says a lot about their team and the culture they have within their locker room.
I think we kind of talked to you guys after the game Saturday about kind of reestablishing your physical nature as a defense. When you're going against a team like Michigan State, how important is that to have that physical nature as a defense?
It's important every single week, so we try to have an emphasis on that no matter who we're playing. But especially with a team like this, you got to practice tough all week long so that when Saturday comes along, you're not just trying to flick the switch on. You've already been practicing like that all week.
I just want to ask you about Tavon. How do you think he kind of came out of that game against Nevada, and now going into this week, what have you sort of seen out of him?
He's just trying to get better every single day, which is important. I think that he played well in the game. Could have had him play. There's some opportunities for him to make a couple more plays, and he knows that. He knows he's a game behind on tackles, and he could have kind of made up for that. But he's working every single day to learn how to make those plays and how to take that picture before the play begins so that he can.
James, I'm actually kind of building on that. You mentioned being a guy, you've been physical all the time, whether you're a wide receiver, special teams, and moving to linebacker. I'm sure you've been in games before, especially last year, where you had a kind of better performance in the second half defensively. Is that settling in? I mean, as a defense, not just you. Is that part of settling in against a physical team? Like you held down Clemson in the second half. Ohio State didn't score a touchdown the final 20 minutes. How do you kind of get guys to settle in faster against a physical team like that?
I don't know if it's really the physicality about it when talking about settling in. I think that a lot of offenses try to give us a bunch of different looks in the first half. And they go and they look and they say, okay, well, these two worked. Let's go with this. You kind of saw it last week, and they tried to throw a bunch, like we were playing triple option out of nowhere. And obviously that didn't work. But, teams try to throw a lot at you in the first half and then kind of go with their mainstays in the second half, which obviously is what we kind of practice for. So settling in that manner, yes. But physicality-wise, I think just starts from the beginning of the game. And in the second half, I think that, Notre Dame just lasts longer when we're playing offenses.
James, obviously you're at linebacker, but the secondary losing another player this week with Sean going down. What do you say to the guys in the secondary? Obviously, a lot of youth back there to just kind of be ready to go for a big game like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's next man in, and no matter what season it is, we're always going to face things like this. It's unfortunate to see a guy like Crawford go down just because, he's battled an injury already, and he's such a great player. So it's unfortunate to see that, and he will be missed. But, just trying to get these guys to grow up pretty quick and make them realize how serious college football is.
And then how much does it help going through the Texas game with a youthful team that you guys have gone through the experience of that really big game atmosphere? Obviously, you lost the game, but everyone got that experience. How much does that help for the younger guys on the team, do you think?
I think it helps a ton. They have an idea of how that game kind of goes. Just need to give them a little bit of the taste how it feels to win a game like that. So I know we're going to be playing 4 quarters against Michigan State this weekend, and hopefully they can learn how to win.
And what are you expecting the atmosphere to be like Saturday night under the lights at the stadium?
I mean, I'm pumped to get back under the lights at home. It was fun to be back home last weekend and get the win. But there's nothing like a night game or the first night game at Notre Dame Stadium. I think everybody's going to be super pumped to be back, and especially playing Michigan State, 2 Midwest teams. So, I'm pumped. I think the stadium's going to be rocking, and everybody keeps on saying that it's louder. I don't know if it's because of the construction or what the deal is, but I kind of felt that as well.
Anything else? All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
We'll have
guys.
the shot.